tuned in to the Stephanie and Stefani show. I'm Hunter Stefani here with my brother Justin Stefani. Got word earlier this week that Shawn and Shawn weren't doing too good of a job on the Shawn and Shawn show, so had to kick it to the Stefani brothers. So now we're here with Stefani, Hunter Stefani, like I said, and Justin Stefani. So this weekend we had an interesting week of high school football. Buhach Colony Thunder, the team that we play for, played El Capitan High School, new rising team, I should say. Bunch of people stepped up. We put our game together. Anyone surprise you, Justin?
I was surprised by Andre Sherman and Stefan Eastman. They came up big for us in the backfield. Also, Brandon Muse played very well. I thought that Chris Ramos stepped up, and so also Corey Woods, and I love the way our defense played, giving up less than 100 yards.
Okay.
I think the El Cap has some great players on the right. I think Josh Stewart, the linebacker and running back, I think he's pretty good. And Isaiah Knott, was he a running back?
Yeah, he's also a running back
for El Capitan. I think he's pretty good. I think they're going to be explosive next year probably.
That's good stuff. Well, here's some of the things we have from this weekend.
Get down! Go, go, go! Run!
Well, those are two kids after our jobs. What a great job by the Stefani brothers, Justin and Hunter. Hunter had mentioned to you that he wanted a regular spot on the show. I didn't even talk to you, but I called Coach Navarre up to see if they could be on the show this week, and they were willing, and so we're going to have some fun with that.
I think there could be some trouble with the sibling rivalry from week to week, though. If one upstages the other, it could turn ugly fast.
But the Stefani brothers will join us later. We'll talk to them about Buhach Colony, their season, and the sibling rivalry. And they actually went out to their practice, after practice, and interviewed a couple of their guys so we can critique their interviewing skills. But let's talk about some of the action from last week. Obviously, you were at the Buhach Colony game against El Cap. What was your impression of Buhach Colony?
I don't know. It was a good, solid opening week for them. They went out and did what was expected of them. There's some things they need to clean up. They had over 100 yards worth of penalties in the first half. The first touchdown, Justin got in trouble for stiff arming when he was in the end zone. But no, I mean they look good. They looked efficient. A little sloppy at times, a couple turnovers, but for the most part, they did what they do. They had over 400 yards of rushing in the game, over 300 at halftime. Justin went 5 carries for 142 yards and a couple scores, so they took care of business. On the other side, good solid effort out of El Cap in their opener. They got a taste of the varsity experience now. They went up against one of the better local teams, a team that's been consistently good for the last 4 or 5 years. Always going to be a tough go for them. What they need to work on is just they need to be a little more efficient with what they do. Better effort from them in the second half in terms of slowing Buhach down. But when you're a spread offense and you're relying on tempo, you got to catch the ball. They had plenty of opportunities where they could have extended drives, and guys just drop balls or the ball was slightly off the mark. So those are the things they're going to continue to work on. They play fast. I'm not going to lie. There were times I was struggling to keep up with my stats and my videos. So it could be a fun team down the road.
All right, let's go to the game that I covered. Clovis West beating Merced 49-39. It felt like it just ended 10 minutes ago. That's how long it lasted. Actually ended about 10:45. I was stuck in my car till midnight writing my story, trying to get on deadline. Coach Scheid even joked that bus drivers might be upset at Rob Scheid this year for how much they threw it. They threw the ball 62 times in that game. Tyrone Williams threw for 418 yards, but did throw 5 interceptions. That's kind of what plagued him last year, and it really hurt him this year in stopping some drives. Merced turned the ball over 6 times. If you're a numbers guy, this was the game for you. The two teams combined for 168 plays. Merced had 106 plays on offense. The two teams passed the ball 85 times. Like I said, Williams over 100 yards. Jabbar Bird ran the ball 21 times for 170 yards and 3 touchdowns for Merced. Josh Taylor caught the ball 11 times for 218 yards. So some impressive stats. Merced was able to move the ball, just had some drives, a couple penalties at ill-opportune times, a couple bad snaps, and then the turnovers, the 6 turnovers really hurt Merced. Clovis West had just gone to the spread this year. They had 659 yards of offense. I was really impressed with how quick they got to the ball. They had a JV kid on their sideline that was their ball boy, and he would sprint the ball out to the referee after each play so they could just get it and go, get the ball set. So Clovis West was pretty impressive. They had some studs on their team. Kids are being recruited nationally at some big-time colleges that had big-time games. Darian Owens had the 4 interceptions, had a long touchdown run in the second half, and a long touchdown catch that was really the backbreaker in the game.
Obviously, like you said, that they're a talented team that they went up against, but some of those offensive numbers, does that concern you about the Merced defense moving forward here?
I think Merced will be all right. I don't think they're the same team they were last year, especially up front with the front 7. They only returned 2 starters there, but they were both injured. They had 3 starters out on defense. That really hurt. They had Justin Solis, the defensive end. He was out. He's a third-year varsity player. Jamar Bird's Cook. Jamon Cook. He's out with an ankle sprain. Probably be out a couple more weeks. Probably their best defensive player at middle linebacker. And then Lawrence Anderson, one of their DBs, was out, and that really hurt against the spread team because it kind of made him more thin. And Jabbar Bird had to play a lot going both ways at DB and running back, so he kind of got tired in the game.
All right, let's go from that to a game that had almost no offense to speak of. Atwater hosted Franklin and Elk Grove. Kind of like how it went down for them last year when they played another Elk Grove team in the playoffs. Defense did a nice job keeping them in the game, and the offense just couldn't move the ball.
Yeah, they struggled. They struggled doing much of anything. You talked to Coach Valado after the game. Couldn't really get in a rhythm offensively. Stud quarterback for Franklin got them off to an early lead before he got hurt, and then Franklin kind of got some big plays there to kind of put the game away.
Yeah, and as Coach Valado said, as well as the defense played, you put a talented team like that on the field on offense for that long, they're going to eventually score, and that's what happened. They got worn down at the end of the second half, but obviously they kept the game competitive throughout. I think it was 16-0 at halftime, so they only gave up 13 points in the second half despite how long the defense was out there. So some promising things for Atwater in this game, and then some things that obviously need to be improved before they host Central Catholic this week.
Yeah, the good thing for Atwater, their schedule gets easier, taking on a 2-time state champion. Golden Valley had a tight one. They kind of got off to a slow start and weren't able to catch up to Clovis East. They fall 32-25 in the opener. Nice debut for their sophomore running back.
A couple touchdowns, couple runs of 60 yards, I believe.
Isaiah Montanez.
And they did a nice job fighting back into the game. They got off to the slow start that they were hoping to avoid. Clovis East had a little more potency offensively than I think they were expecting, and were a little more effective against them. fought back, had the lead at 25-22 going in, or almost at the end of the third quarter. Clove Cease responds with a late touchdown right before the start of the fourth quarter, and GV never seemed to bounce back from that.
Yeah, up in the mountains, Pacheco makes a long trip, and that bus ride had to be pretty exciting on the way home. A comeback victory for them over Bear River. Big game for Jawan Epperson.
Heck of a game. Five touchdown performance. I believe he passed for 4, ran for another, had the game-winning score with about 2 minutes left. Hearing David Snap's comments about him before the start of the season, he's the kind of kid who's electric but can drive you crazy because you don't necessarily know what you're getting from him. He delivered the goods this first game out. Big road win for Pacheco. Nice start to what they're hoping is going to be a big season.
And I don't know about you, but the score that caught my eye the most was Hillmar 10, Livingston 7. Pretty impressive in a loss for keeping it close for Livingston coming off a 1-win season last year.
Yeah, I mean, basically, we didn't have a great deal to go on. We haven't seen these teams out of the gate. But based off of the way Hillmar ended the season and the way Livingston ended the season, that wasn't a scoreline you were expecting, especially 7-0 at halftime. Livingston had the lead. Gabe Diol touchdown run in the first half. You talked to Coach Marquez. It made it sound like Livingston just came to play, and it's not going to be as easy for Hillmar this time around.
Yeah, I talked to him this afternoon. We're filming this on Tuesday. Kind of just asked, take me through the game, and Coach Marquez said, hey, he said, Livingston was just fired up. He said their new coach, Gonzalez, had them ready to go. They had a nice student section. They were just ready to play. He said, we made some mistakes. We had some long drives there. They got stopped by penalties, but he's like, you got to give Livingston credit. He's like, he wouldn't be surprised if they go 3-1 in the non-conference schedule. He was that impressed with Livingston.
Yeah, you hold Jonathan O'Brien under 200 yards of total offense. You've done a nice job.
All right, well, let's kick it to the guys that are trying to steal our job, the Stefani brothers here. Here's their interview. All right, we welcome the Stefani brothers back. We got Justin and Hunter fresh off your guys' win. Talk about the short week this week. You guys go on Thursday night against Enox. How does that? You guys have had to have a little bit longer practices Monday and Tuesday to get ready. Has it been kind of a grind this week?
You want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. This week's been really good. We got lots of good coaches out there helping us put it all together. Don't really have to worry about the schedule too much. Yesterday we had a 4-hour practice. It went real smooth. We got offensive ball going, defense side. We're putting it all together. I think we'll be good for this week with the short schedule.
What's your impression of seeing Enox on film? What do you guys have to prepare for?
They're definitely fast. They're fast. They're more up tempo, and they run the option. I think the way Coach Navarro and Coach Dietz has put the game plan together on defense, I think we should be pretty well, or we should do it pretty well.
Scratch that. Dietz is offensive coach.
He helps with the defense too, as linebackers.
All right, well, we'll take that part out too. Sorry.
we'll edit it. Coming back 3, 2, 1. Talk about you guys growing up together. How many fights did you guys get into growing up playing football just around the house?
All the time, every day, just so.
It's still going on today. Yeah. You can ask all the coaches out there. We're still getting into it at practice, but we split up the teams we have a blue team and a green team, and coaches put us on the opposite side of the team together, kind of like energizes the practice, because whenever we get at, the whole team seems to feed off of that and get real hyper.
Being the younger brother, how much is it a challenge going up against your older brother?
I mean, it's never really been a challenge for me. He's always kind of been a little below me, but I don't know.
Are you jealous of his hair, Justin?
No, actually, I started that my sophomore year on varsity. I actually had a lot longer and a lot better looking hair. I think I wore it better.
I would have to disagree with that by far. You can ask all the ladies at school who has the better hair.
He's never had a girlfriend. And he's never had a girlfriend. So, but yeah, definitely, I'm better looking. I'm a lot more talented. He's all right at football, I guess, for being my little brother. But yeah, he brings the best out of me in practice, and it's fun to go at it with him. Definitely, it's been like this since we were little. Fights all the time in the living room and out at the youth practices, and so it's just the same thing now that we're older. We're just a little heavier, and we have to go outside when we fight.
What's the biggest punishment you guys have had at home for the fights?
Cell phones usually.
Yeah,
usually our dad knows how to get us to take away from the cell phones, and that's when we'll behave like perfect for till we get our phones back, then it starts again.
Yeah.
Back to football. Talk about expectations for Buhach this year after not making the playoffs, Justin.
Last year was definitely a down year for our program, but I think this year we've gotten a lot more focused, and I think that playoffs are definite, but I think we can go beyond not just the first or second round. I think we have a legitimate chance of sections this year, and I like the way our team's playing, and we can only improve from here.
Hunter, it's your brother's senior year. How important is it? Do you want to see him get to the playoffs?
To me, it's very important. Like earlier this year, our line was kind of slacking, and I kind of wanted the line. We have lots of good linemen that I know they have potential to do good things. Kind of wanted to get them all together so we could block, get him some yards, but also a lot of our other backs too. Andre, Stefan, Corey, Connor Soros, Chris Ramos. We have a lot of really talented backs that not that many people get to see. But with that line, the line we have this year, I feel like we'll be able to block each of them to get at least 100 yards a game.
How much did you enjoy this? We're going to look at a clip of you guys interviewing some people out at practice. You guys got to do the intro for the show.
Yeah.
Is this something you like doing, being in front of a camera?
I love being in front of the camera. Actually, that's what I want to do when I grow up. I kind of want to be an actor. I have lots of people tell me I'm real funny and that they could see me acting. And
No.
I feel like this is a great start right
He's
here.
not that funny.
I know Sunstar's going to watch this, probably want to hire me here.
Mm-hmm.
He's not that funny, but it's definitely something different. It's a pretty cool experience. It's not every day you get to be interviewed like this. It's pretty cool.
All right. Well, we're going to show some their interviewing skills out from their practice today, talking to Coach Navarra and Andre Sherman.
Justin Stefani here with superstar Andre Sherman. Got a couple questions for you, Andre.
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Doing great.
My first question is, how you feel about that El Capitan win last week?
I feel pretty good. Our team played really well. Our offense, our defense, everything's pretty much on point. We made a couple of mistakes, but that's why this week put in a lot of work to go on Thursday and looking for that W against Enox.
Yeah, we're playing El Cap. Heard they're supposed to have a pretty explosive offense. What are you looking forward to this week?
You mean Enox?
Yeah. Enox, that's El Cap?
Yeah.
Gotta restart.
I knew you were trying to say El Cap.
Damn. Big game coming up against Enox. How you feel? What are you looking forward to playing this season?
Well, I've heard about they have a good quarterback and they've got a pretty solid team. But I'm just looking forward to shutting that quarterback down. Our coach has done a pretty good job of getting us prepared, so I'm looking forward to the W.
Yep. And the last and most important question, out of Hunter and myself, who's a better looking Stephanie?
Well, I'm going to have to say Justin Stephani.
Thank you. The debate is settled.
Kevin Navarra of the Buhach Colony Thunder. So, Coach, big game coming up Thursday against Enox. How's the team looking?
I thought we've had a short week of preparation, but I thought they've stayed focused and done the things that I've asked, and I think we're prepared.
That's good. Big win last Friday. Anyone step up, surprise you at all?
There was 3 or 4 guys I think that really stepped up.
I'm sorry. Wait. Where were we again? Sorry. Last weekend against El Capitan. Anybody step up and surprise you?
I think it was a good team effort overall, offensively, defensively, and special teams, and we were able to score in all 3 aspects. So I think when you're able to do that, it's a good night all the way around.
All right, one last question, probably the most important question. Big controversy at Buhach right now. Which Stefani brother do you think is the better looking one?
Well, I'm going to have to go with Hunter because of the Goldilocks up there.
I like that answer. Thank you, Coach.
You got to give them credit. They did a good job. Nice job with the interviews, some funny outtakes. Good luck to them this week. Let's talk about their game against Enox. Buhach coming off the win. Enox coming off a 25-20 loss. Early game Thursday night. What do you expect?
Yeah, tough schedule for Enox out of the gate. You get a physical, tough game with Turlock, and then Buhach comes to run the ball down your throat. This will be a good test for them, I guess, coming off the first one, see if they can improve, see if they can clean some things up. They did what they want to do against El Cap. Now the question is, can they do that against a more established team? Obviously, containing Shawn Munoz on the defensive end kind of is what stops Enox. I think they're capable of it. They certainly looked good and looked like they're going to be a team to reckon with the first week. So we'll see how they can build on that. And I imagine their stars are going to get a few more touches, a few more reps this time around.
Yeah, and the coach is really stressing, you play an option team, you have to do your assignment. Somebody's got the quarterback, somebody's got the dive, somebody's got the pitch man. And that's what they're really stressing. It's not the first time they faced a team that's options. It's not the first time they faced a quarterback that can run. I think Buhach's going to be up for the challenge. I really like their running game, and I like them to win by 2 touchdowns in this game.
Passing game didn't look good bad in the first game either. And they haven't necessarily decided on their quarterbacks. They kind of went one half and one half. It's kind of unfortunate for Sanchez that the game was already over at halftime and didn't get to throw much. But, Buhach certainly looks good. You got to go with them here.
Probably not a tough to predict this one. Merced versus El Cap. Merced coming off the loss. I think it's kind of good that they get El Cap right here because Merced's hurt on defense. I think this gives them another week to kind of rest their 3 guys. Unless they're completely healthy, I don't see those guys playing in this game. They want to save them for that next game against Edison. But I think Merced gives us a chance to right the ship here.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say El Cap gets their first score this game. I think they can do it. They're gonna need to be a lot more efficient offensively. Try to hold on to the ball. I know they want to play fast, but I almost think it would behoove them to slow down a little bit and keep Merced's offense off of the field because they're as potent as it comes around here.
And the good thing for El Cap, it only gets easier after these first 2 weeks.
Right.
I mean, you go against Buhach and Merced; those are the toughest teams on their schedule.
Then you get
the
a
game will
couple
slow
NFC
down.
teams, right.
So I think the game will slow down once they play a Downey and a Grigori. So I think they'll find their way kind of 4 or 5 games into the season. Golden Valley hits the road to Modesto to face Bayer. Both teams starting off 0-1. Bayer lost to Sheldon 30-18 this week. It was a really close game when the 2 teams played last week. It was a game that Golden Valley felt they let get away. Going on the road, the young Golden Valley team, who do you like here?
I like Golden Valley because Bayer's coaching staff came in late. They put the system in late. Bayer's playing catch up, and I think it's going to take them a little while. I think Golden Valley is going to learn some things from that first game. Hopefully, they'll get out and get a lead and play a little more ball control after that. And I like the GV showing. They showed some spunk in that first game.
Yeah, if they can avoid a slow start and get off to a quicker start this game. I picked Golden Valley last week. I'll pick them again this week. If I'm wrong, then maybe I go away from them. But I'll go with Golden Valley this week. Atwater against Central Catholic. Like we said, the 2-time state champion Raiders come into town on Atwater. I think you got to go Central Catholic here.
I would agree. Tough schedule for Atwater.
Mm-hmm.
You go from incredible speed with that Franklin team to now incredible size with Central Catholic. They're supposed to be big, mammoth O-line. They got their quarterback, Hunter Petalinsky. He's supposed to be the man for the team this year. They may air it out a little more, but at the end of the day, you got to imagine that Central Catholic still wants to pound it down your throat. Defense did a nice job, so we'll see if Atwater's offense can move the ball against perhaps not as athletic a defensive unit.
And the final game, the game that you're going to be at, LeGrand at Chowchilla. It's the season opener for LeGrand. Chowchilla won last week over Madera South. Nice showing. They had over 400 yards rushing. Big game for Anthony Stewart. This could be an interesting game.
Yeah, I gotta imagine it's gonna come down to LeGrand's physicality versus Chowchilla's lack of players, and which one can rise to the occasion there. LeGrand's definitely gonna have its eyes on Anthony Stewart. Kid's a dynamic guy. Had a big first game as the quarterback last week. Where's this being played? Chowchilla?
Mm-hmm.
You gotta go LeGrand. I mean, they're the 4-time defending section champs, so we'll give them the nod here. But I think this is gonna be a nice competitive ball game.
And that's where I give the edge to LeGrand. If this game's close in the fourth quarter, you got to think that LeGrand's depth can play a role here. I think Christian Williams finds a way to make a big play when needed. I got LeGrand in that game. In a close game, I think it's going to be a really good game.
Yeah, good opener
that I'm not covering that game. That's going to do it for our show. Thanks to Justin and Hunter Stefani for coming by. They did a great job, and enjoy the games this week.